Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 1993 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham. Up front is a 5.7 liter V8, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham for two reasons. First of all, I always love an older big body Cadillac. It makes me feel cool, makes me feel special. But the second reason is the fact that it has that Chevy 350 under the hood, and we're going to talk about why that was actually kind of problematic in its era. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that Chevy 350 under the hood. They wanted to start phasing out rear-wheel drive V8 platforms. So in 1987, they switched to an Oldsmobile V8. Carbureted, it worked okay, but it wasn't bespoke to Cadillac anymore. And then in the 90s, they fell even further. They were gutting the rear-wheel drive programs, and so they didn't really have a rear-wheel drive platform for this final generation of Fleetwood Brougham. So they borrowed the B platform from vehicles like the Oldsmobile Custom Cruiser, the Chevy Caprice, and the Buick Roadmaster. So what came with it was that Chevy 350. And while it's not overly a bad motor, I'm not sitting here with my fillings rattling out of my mouth, it's not a Cadillac motor. Cadillac always prided itself on having bespoke engines before the 1980s. Of course, we know what happened with the Cadillac Cimarron and whatnot, but Cadillac was always its own deal. It was under the GM umbrella, but kind of an untouched, hey, we don't mess with Cadillac. You can gut Pontiac, you can gut Buick, you can gut Oldsmobile, but you do not gut Cadillac. And so when owners got the Chevy 350, they were kind of pissed. It's a rougher around the edges engine. It's not as refined as Cadillac engines of yesteryear used to be. And so that's why it's a rather unloved drivetrain. Now, like I said, paired to it is an automatic transmission. It's shifting fine, but again, wasn't anything different. It wasn't nicer than its siblings at the time, which Cadillac used to be. So again, another feature. Last but not least, as mentioned earlier, it is rear-wheel drive, and based off the B platform, although this is stretched, the rear doors is where you could really tell that this is longer than a Roadmaster or Caprice, but something to note, it's rather similar. So how does it feel to drive the Fleetwood Brougham? Well, it's still a nice driving experience. You still get a relatively Cadillac experience. It still floats down the road. It still has that cushiony ride. It still has super light steering. All of those factors that made it Cadillac are still there. It's just that that engine felt a lot less refined. Visibility's good, ride quality nice. Overall, it's a decent ride. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have digital gauges. So off to the left is my fuel, in the center is my speed, and off to the right is my odometer and trip odometer. Love to see all of that. The steering wheel doesn't have any forward-facing buttons besides the horn, and off to the left, we have our headlight switch and Twilight Sentinel, as well as a climate vent. Twilight Sentinel just basically being automatic headlights. Moving out of the door, we do get a speaker. No concert sound 2 here, like in the Roadmaster. We do have our lock and unlock. We have power mirrors, power windows, and our seat adjustments all found on the door. Moving into the center, we do get our climate controls. We get auto climate as well as our fan speed. I like these big chunky buttons. They're easy to use and easy to see. And down below, we have our Cadillac radio. We do have our auto reversing cassette player, as well as favorites, tune, volume scan, things like that. Then we do have a cigarette lighter and ashtray, very clean, rarely used. And moving into the center, we do have a little center console that has pop-out cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Fleetwood Brougham. And unfortunately it fails, but it comes oh so close. I think if you gave me 3 minutes with a Dremel, we could make it pass, but that's not what the big friggin' bottle test is all about. The seats are incredibly comfortable. They're finished in this nice 90s leather that I grew up around. These are very nostalgic for me. I love the look of them, love the feeling of them. And they are very Cadillac, no matter what that engine under the hood might tell you it is. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 1993 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham, and a couple of things to note. First of all, I fit beautifully back here. The seats are incredibly comfortable. I get little mirrors back here so I can check myself out. I'm incredibly sweaty because the other vehicles I was driving today did not have AC. This is nice. I get the Cadillac crest right over my shoulder. I get a fold-out center console with cup holders. This is an incredibly relaxing, incredibly comfortable place to be. Just relaxing. I feel safe back here. And that's what a Cadillac should do. A Cadillac should have a parental feeling to the vehicle, and this most certainly does. I get ashtrays in the doors because of course I do. I love it. Oh God, I love being back here. Just the look of the seats, the big ridges, you sink right into them. When you are in a Cadillac of this era, you are home. Whether you were born in the 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s, or even the 2000s, if you're a Gen Zer and you sit back here, you're going to feel at home. You're going to feel welcomed. You're going to feel a part of the family. That's awesome. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the trunk of the Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham, and nothing really too crazy to write home about. We do have a giant spare tire and plenty of space. Honestly, I've always said it, if I ever get kicked out of my home, if my girlfriend's ever tired of me, I'm gonna try to find a big vehicle like this to sleep in, and I think the Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham would be a very suitable candidate. Absolutely love this. This is very Cadillac to me, so while the engine might not be, this is still very Cadillac. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I personally love the look of the Fleetwood Brougham. I think it is very unapologetically Cadillac. It's very squared off. It's very big man in charge, and I like that. I like this sort of fake Landau top looking thing. I like the presence that it has, and this is just so Cadillac when you look at it. It's undeniable. Although it might share B-body parts, it is no ordinary B-body, and that is nice to see. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving another Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham from 1993? Well, this is the end of an era. Well, it didn't actually until 1996. You know what I mean. This is like the last iteration of like big body, comfy V8 rear-wheel drive Cadillac. Now, did Cadillac do rear-wheel drive V8 again? Yes, but that was in like the CTS-V or the CT5V. Those are performance rear-wheel drive V8 vehicles. This is a comfortable rear-wheel drive V8. And there's a big difference in the way that it feels, the way that it is. This floats and boats. I feel like my Uncle Tony has had 4 of these. This is a rolling half Italian, half Polish Chicagoan with a trunk full of Lou Malnati's or dipped beef. I mean, that's how this thing feels, and it has that sort of warm power to it. I feel like this is an uncle. Maybe they're not my first call. Maybe the Fleetwood isn't my first call, but I know that my uncles have always been there for me, and that if I called them with a problem, they would pick up and help me solve it. That's how this Fleetwood Brougham feels. You don't need it every day. You might not even think about it every day, but it's always going to be there for you. When you need something, the Fleetwood Brougham is going to deliver. No matter that undersized V8 under the hood, maybe it's not special. Maybe it's not dedicated to only Cadillac. Maybe it was shared with basic trucks and vehicles. It's a Chevy 350. It was put into everything, and they made billions of them. But that's okay. This car doesn't need to be special to do what it needs to do. My uncles aren't millionaires, but they give their all to the family, and that's what this is. This car is just a trustworthy uncle on 4 wheels. Maybe they skipped a holiday or 2, but can you really hold it against them? I certainly wouldn't. So while this might not have been loved in its day, I ache for cars like this. I ache for vehicles like this era. And I guess it's a perfect representation of you don't know what you got till it's gone. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Richard for letting me borrow not only this Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham, but also his other Cadillacs that I reviewed here today. Absolutely wonderful. What a fantastic automobile. Richard has been wonderful to work with. I appreciate him very, very much, and I look forward to filming more of his Cadillac collection. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.